Welcome to the golf edition of Hooked on Sport. This is South Australia's summer golf wrap, where we uncover the stories, personalities and moments that define golf across South Australia and beyond. It's time to talk golf with sports commentator Ben Hook and state golf representative Sophie Hilditch.
Good on you, Wallace. Thanks very much. We're on the verge of one of the big weeks in Simpson and Sanderson Cup. It is preliminary final week in the Sanderson Cup, semi-final week in the Simpson Cup. Royal Adelaide taking on Glenelg in the Sanderson Cup preliminary final. It's where we're going to start. And when you're starting with Sanderson Cup, you start with Sophie Hilditch and all of her expertise and insight. Soph, good evening. Hello. And are you ready for what's going to be the most important game that you will play this year? Unless you win it, and that'll be that one next week.
Yeah, I was about to say, hopefully it's not the most important. Hopefully the most important is a few weeks' time. But no, Hookie, I am so excited. It's at this point, it's Thursday night. This comes out on Friday, and all I want to do is just tee it up on Sunday. I'm kind of done with practicing and getting ready for this. I just want to go out there and play.
Let's talk about the game. You are at home, which is a massive advantage to you. So these preliminary finals are pre-booked in. You finished second anyway, one ahead of Glenelg. So I guess you've earned hosting rights regardless, but this was always on the schedule. The preliminary final was going to be at Royal Adelaide. You come off an excellent win against Kooyonga. Glenelg come off the bye, and they had qualified for the finals the week before. So if I really felt like you guys killed some demons last week. Cooey has had your measure and you put them to bed. And I reckon that was really important for your emotional state. I mean, you had to win to go through anyway, essentially. Look, it wasn't all smooth sailing, but I reckon your group will like this matchup coming up. And the fact that you're not playing Cooey, I think you all just walk an inch taller. I think you like the matchup against Glenelg. I think the home game really helps, as I said. I mean, Glenelg will know Royal Adelaide, but the familiarities will suit you. And funnily enough, I don't think it suits the Royal Adelaide men. I don't think they play the blue tees at Royal Adelaide really well, but I do think it suits you. I think it gives you a great opportunity. There are misses that you guys sort of instinctively know where to miss, and probably that's not quite so familiar for the Glenelg girls. The finals format is interesting, isn't it? I actually think it's pretty terrible that you can have a situation where your best player might not actually figure in the game. I mean, imagine being told that, right, your best player can't start playing until the second half of the AFL Grand Final. I've never quite understood why it's done in that order. I think we should be flipping the orders and first player should go out first. Like in a cricket game, the best bowler bowls first and the best batters go out first. Story for another time, but I don't know why that doesn't get fixed at some point. Right, so my must win. I'm going for Sarah Crocker. This is Glenelg, of course. She's 4 from 4. Her form is excellent. Royal Adelaide will hold no fears from her. I mean, my goodness, she's married to the golf ops manager at the club. And someone at Glenelg has to tame a big name. I just can't see Zoe doing it at 1 against her great mate Reagan. And I can't see Jill doing it at 3, presumably against Laura Birchmore. So Sarah Crocker has to do it against you. That is the only way I can see a path towards Glenelg winning this final. For Royal Adelaide, it's Angela Plumridge, I think, is the key player for you. And I know that's pretty remarkable for someone who's only had 2 runs in this level of the game. So it's been a huge start. But she'll like Royal Adelaide because she's so green everywhere else. She doesn't really know how to play any other course. I'll be interested to see who she gets on her bag this week. My understanding is the first 2 weeks of her Sanderson Cup career, she's had a past club champion at Royal Adelaide on her bag, and I wonder if you wheel out one for a third time. But if she wins, let's say she plays Beck Hughes right, I think that's entirely the matchup, and that'll be the biggest challenge for her because who's she running to? Tammy Twiss and Zoe Bennett, and they're both very young and inexperienced. So if she gets Beck Hughes, it's a bigger task. But if she gets the win at 5, I reckon 2 from 4 is something that the rest of you 4 can manage. I do think there's a very simple path for 2 more wins for you. I mean, I'd take Reagan over her best mate, Zoe. You and Crocker will be entertaining. I think that's tight. Birchmore should be fine with Jill. And then number 4, I think, is the curiosity for you guys. Maya Jakapek for Glenelg is undefeated. And I just will be interested to see who plays there for you guys. I'm sure You probably know your team by now, and I'm sure you're not going to tell me. I'd be surprised if Adele Wang gets a game. She didn't have a great fist of it in the Junior Interstate Series. She was a little bit disappointing last week. And you've got some real options in your Pike Cup squad. So whether Bartlett comes back in, Morrison comes back in, De Silva comes back in, or you stick with Wang, I don't know. But that's the one little asterisk for me. I'll be interested to see what you do this week. Want me to give you a tip?
Of course.
I'm going Royal Adelaide here. I think you win 3-2. I do think there are some pitfalls for you, but with Reagan Denton in against a club you've already beaten without her, I just like your chances a bit more here. So I think you win. It's 3-2, 3.5, 1.5. But I mean, it sort of doesn't matter the margins anymore, does it? Because once you've got your 3 wins, everyone walks off the course, shakes hands, and one goes through and the other heads to Mad Monday. So yeah, I think you go in as warm favourites at home, probably with the stronger team, and certainly in form that, yeah, I like. So I've got you going through to the grand final from here, Soph.
Well, that's exactly where I see us as well, Hookie. I'm hoping that the 3 wins come from 5, 4, and 3, and I can just walk off that course. I love, by the way, this whole season. You just bet against me the whole season. The must-wins are always playing me, I swear. It's
That's a sign of respect. That is me saying that, you know, if anyone's going to get past Royal Adelaide, then they've got to tame one of their absolute linchpins. This is you have misunderstood the way I go with must wins. My must wins are someone that really needs to take an opposition down a peg, and I mean they take you down 2 pegs if they get past you. So yeah, don't misinterpret what I'm saying. It's a sign of respect here, Soph.
Yeah, sure, Hookie. Whatever makes you sleep at night. I think it's just because you can't wait for me to get absolutely walloped on one of these days. But anyways, it's absolutely fine. Should we move on to the Simpson finals?
Let's talk about Grange and Royal Adelaide. Give me your first thoughts.
I don't know, Hookie. You gave me this one, and I always kind of hate when you give me Royal Adelaide and you give me my boys, because I've got a funny feeling about this. Now, Grange are the clear favourites. They have been the favourites on paper, but they've also been the favourites through performance. They've won 6 out of 7 games. It's hard to not think that they are not going to be in the grand final. RA, on the other hand, have been rocky. But this almost seems when they got a narrow win over Thacky at home, and it almost seemed like it awoke the boys, and it was absolutely incredible. We've now seen Cawthorn, Pacifico, Arnold, Lawson all start to come to the party. They weren't having the best seasons themselves, with the exception of Cawthorn, who's had an incredible season. I think he's had 5 out of 7 wins. At one stage, they were relying on their 14-year-old Billy White just to get them over the line in some of these games. But I now feel like the team's awoken, and they might be an underdog, but I think they could sneakily cause a bit of an upset here. Royal and Grange last met at the Vines. So at Mount Osmond, a similar course to the Vines, which is where they're going to be playing the finals. No advantage to either team. Grange in the minor round got the job done 5-2. However, I want to make a note that 5 out of 7 of these games went down 17-18, and Grange snagged 3 points to close out the game, and they just did not fall Royal's way. I think Royal boys should be looking at that and thinking twice about it, and thinking what could have been, because they're all close, incredibly close matches, and something different could have happened for those boys. So I don't think they should be looking at the 5-2 and feeling a bit upset about it. With that being said, I mean, Grange are still clearly the favourites. The top order of Grange and the depth that they have is absolutely incredible. And I think for us, for the Royal Adelaide boys, their must-win is going to be Will Arnold for me. I think he really needs to stand up at the top of that order to some of the Grange boys. Like you said, he's starting to come into a bit of form. He had a narrow loss last week, but he is coming into form. He shot 3 under at Royal Adelaide a few weeks ago. He's looking very good, but I think he's going to have to knock off one of those Grange boys if Royal are going to get the win. For Grange, I'm looking at Darren Baines down the bottom of the order. I think he's going to be coming up against one of our more experienced players in either Nathan Kent, Anthony Olsen, Matt Lawson. I'm not going to give away the team, not going to give away our trade secrets, but I think he's going to be coming across some of our experienced players with a course like the Vines. it does tend to lean towards your more experienced player because they know how to play strategically. They know how to stay patient. And I just think that's going to be a tough ask, and Grange need to win early on to show Royal Adelaide there's a reason that we're at the top of the leaderboard and you fell fourth.
Yeah, good points. I really think Nathan Kent's important for Royal Adelaide this time. He'll probably play 7, and getting wins early is going to be so important because what happens at the other end of the order can often become irrelevant if you've got wins early. The other point that you made, Blair Christie probably been the best player in the competition this year. 6 wins from 7, all of them at the top. His only loss, Alex Pacifico. Royal Adelaide at Mount Osmond. So I just reckon Pacif will be rubbing his hands together about that matchup again. So there's a lot of matchups that they're going to like Royal Adelaide, I think, but they'll need a little bit to go right. My theory for the Grange, Soph, name an Uma Thurman movie. How many Uma Thurman movies can you name?
None.
She was in Pulp Fiction. Do you know what else she was in?
No.
She was in Kill Bill.
Okay.
And I reckon that is going to be the policy for the Grange this year. In fact, it's not just Kill Bill, it's Kill Bill 2. Like, they'll need the sequel as well because
oh my Lord,
they have to get past Billy White and Billy Cawthorn. And if they can put both of those two to sleep, I think it's a pretty straightforward outcome from there. And I know that their team is their team, the Grange. They don't worry about who they're going to be up against. But if you get Billy White or you get Billy Cawthorn, that's going to have to be the policy for Grange. They've got to kill Bill. What's your tip?
Well, I haven't done art about this because something in my gut feels like Royal Adelaide are going to do it. And I think it will be close. But I'm going to have to go against my gut. And I can't look past how strong Grange's team is. And I'm going to go 4-3 the Grange. But gosh, Hookie, something inside me is telling me something different, and I think it's going to be a close game regardless.
I'm going to go the Grange. I'm going to go 4.5, 2.5. It is, like I've been saying in the review show and tonight, it wouldn't shock me if Royal Adelaide produced the biggest upset of the year and tipped the Grange out here. I just feel like it's the Grange's destiny. They've gone 12 years without a title, since centenary year. They've been all of these big names. I do think there's a bit of a watch on the fitness of a couple of their players. So Jackson Bogdowski has missed the last 2 weeks with a back injury. I'm told that they're expected he'll be back. Alex Hendrick is a really important member of this team. Pinged a hamstring going for a run during the week last week, Soph, and he's about 50-50 whether he's going to be fit to play. So just a little bit of uncertainty around their lineup, if you like. But yeah, I do think this is the Grangers to lose. A lot of strength, a lot of talent. And yeah, it'll take everything from Royal Adelaide to get past them here. I'm going the Grange 4-2. Shall we wrap it up with the third and final match of the weekend, which is the second semi-final between Tea Tree Gully and Kooyonga? Kind of the out-of-form sides that head into the semis. Have you got any first thoughts on this one?
Well, my first thoughts are, I think the winner of the Simpson Cup comes out of the first match, but I know Kooyonga and I was harping on about them at the start of the season. I don't think they've had their best season, but I also think Kooyonga are ones to pull the rabbit out of the hat, and I wouldn't be surprised. They're going to be my tip. I'll ruin it straight off the bat. I think they get the 4-3 win over Tea Tree Gully. I think they could potentially still do it and come into form later on, late into the season.
You called this a pillow fight in the review show at the start of the week. You still stand by that?
Look, I feel a bit bad calling it that. I love the Tea Tree Gully boys and I love the Kui boys, but they're the two teams that haven't been in form towards the end of the season, and it just kind of came out. So I apologise, but look, I do think this game is going to be incredibly close between the two teams, and I think it's going to be really important on that middle order of both Tea Tree Gully and Kooyonga.
Couple of stats to back up what you're saying. So Tea Tree Gully started the season 4-0, and then of 21 matches they've played since then, they've won 7.5. Kooyonga started the season 2-0. They've gone 2.5 and 2.5, so they had the half against Royal Adelaide. They've lost to Tea Tree Gully. They've lost to Mount Osmond. And then they've had those couple of close wins later in the year. So they've hardly been in great form. And that's not the Kui we know. So they are a real watch for me. I agree with you. I'd have both of these sides short of either Royal Adelaide or the Grange in a grand final. Can I give you my key winners, must-wins?
Yes, please do.
For Tea Tree Gully, I'm going with Grant Tobias. He's had 4 wins for the year, and Tea Tree Gully have gone on to win in all 4 of them. And that's not a coincidence to me. He's a real quiet achiever. He'll come in at 5. He could be taking on Heath Riches, and that'll be box office if he gets that sort of a matchup. But he's kind of like their barometer, I reckon. And I've talked about the Crown Prince, and I've talked about the Mongoose and all of those guys at the top end of the order who are also really important for Tea Tree Gully. But Grant Tobias, when he wins, Tea Tree Gully also win. And that's the guy I reckon is going to be the key factor for Tea Tree Gully this weekend. For Kooyonga, it's Joel Durnford. Now, in finals, I'm never comfortable with putting that extra weight on the guy who's last out. But if he beats Austin, Tea Tree Gully loses serious chess piece, right? And suddenly they're playing with rooks and pawns when Kooyonga has the queens and bishops out there, Riches and Malachy and Frank and all of those sorts of guys. So if Joel Durnford can get the job done against Chris Austin, I reckon that will be probably a bit of a death knell for Tea Tree Gully here. So my tip, I'm really uncomfortable about it. I'm saying Kooyonga 4.5, 2.5. But yeah, I just feel like there is some lottery in all of this because neither team has demonstrated to me in the last few weeks that they are absolutely going at all 4 cylinders. And yeah, if I'm wrong about this one, I would not be surprised. But for me, it's Kooyonga 4.5, Tea Tree Gully 2.5, and it'll be a Kooyonga Grange grand final in a week and a half's time, Soph.
Love it, Hookie. That's exactly how I would be swaying.
Just a reminder to everyone who didn't catch up with the end of our review show earlier in the week, we are hosting our inaugural Hooked on Sport Player of the Year Awards. Sophie and I will be co-hosts of that event at the Glenelg Golf Club on the 28th of April. So a great way to get into grand final week. Our tickets are limited to 70 people. We're in the members bar at the Glenelg Golf Club. They've been so wonderful, Glenelg, in being able to host us. Golf Australia are being really supportive as well, but I do want to reiterate these are our awards decided by us, decided by the Hooked on Sport team. If you want to get involved, if you'd like to be a part of it, we're hoping to organise with Glenelg Golf Club a live stream of the night, but give me an email on hook_shots@yahoo.com.au and I'll be able to let you know straight away if we can find a spot for you on the night. Entry is free. However, as I said, we are limited with numbers. We're putting some light refreshments, if you like, on, some light catering, but drinks over the bar will be at your own cost. But if you'd like to come along and find out the inaugural Hooked on Sport Player of the Year for Simpson and Sanderson Cup, along with our Best Young Player, our Pennant Most Improved Club, and also the Golf Australia Awards, which will be for all undefeated players throughout the year, we'd love to have your company. And I'm looking forward to yours too, Soph. It's going to be a great night.
Hookie, I can't wait. Thank you so much for your time, and hopefully I can celebrate with you next Monday.
And good luck again, your massive preliminary final against Glenelg. Look forward to debriefing it with you on Monday night. We'll see you then.
See you then.
With the last putt sunk, that's a wrap on this golf edition of Hooked on Sport. Thanks for listening. Help us meet more golfers just like you by following us and leaving a review. We look forward to your company on the next golf edition of Hooked on Sport.